With the release of Aquaman 2, the DC Extended Universe is officially dead. And it was rough. Sure, there were diamonds in that rough, but overall I'd grade the whole era of DC cinema as like a D+, something like that. But despite whatever your perspective may be on Snyder's character interpretations, unhelpful titles, CGI mustaches, and disrespect of the dead, there's something really nice about a franchise with an ending. In the age where Hollywood is beating every dead horse it can find and resurrecting franchises because of nostalgia, but for a modern audience, being able to say, hey, we're done with this, it's finished, is really nice. Sure, they won't stop making DC movies in their next connected universe, but to say that these specific iterations of DC characters are done for good is fulfilling. I mean, give it 15 years and then the DCEU will probably have some sort of crisis of however many Earths, where all these characters can have their endgame portal moment, but until then, they're retired. The end of the DCEU means that we've seen every instance that these characters will appear. We've seen everything that they will do, and everything significant that they've ever done. This also means we've seen their maximum potential, which is great for whataboutisms. The conversations once had in the back of a comic book store, now online for everyone to chip in with their poorly informed opinions, mine included. And the apex of these whataboutisms is the face-off. Who would win in a fight between X and Y? Death battle, rap battle, putting characters head-to-head in nonsense arguments of who we think would beat who. And as we'll have no more appearances of today's subject, our whataboutisms are directed towards Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, the DCEU's very own Batman. For better or worse, this Batman stands out. The robotic voice, the mech suit, the first live-action Batman to appear alongside Superman, and then fight Superman. Then there's the unashamed capacity to consistently murder. Sure, other Batmen kill, some even rather directly, but this iteration stands out amongst them. I mean, this Batman straight up uses guns. Killing aside, guns are extremely atypical for Batmen. And while witnessing all of this for the first time in Batman vs Superman, the younger me did not like this at all. And to be fair, I still don't. However, my criticisms have been set aside to make way for my curiosity. Whataboutisms get very interesting when one of these things is not like the others. So who would win in a fight? The Batman that would never kill under any circumstance, or the Batman that pulls up with a machine gun in a tank? And with Batfleck's unique strengths come his less unique weaknesses. With Batman comes Bruce Wayne, and with Bruce Wayne comes dead parents that he'll never recover from. You may now know where I'm going with this. Possibly the most infamous Batfleck scene is the end of Batman vs Superman's big clash. Our Batman, where the M stands for murder, is about to add one alien to his kill count, with Kryptonite spear in hand, and we get this moment.
You're letting him kill Martha!
What does that mean? Why did you say that name?
Find him! Save Martha!
Apologies for bringing up old wounds, but trust me, this refresher is important. Cavill's Superman is able to stunlock Batfleck by mentioning Martha Kent. Soon after, Lois Lane arrives to provide the needed context that Superman's mother's name is Martha, just like Batman's. Conflict resolved. Because sometimes murder is bad, but only when your relative is kinda like my relative. This also bypasses Bruce's whole movie of screen time justifying why Superman's gotta be taken down. Kryptonite spear gets thrown away, Martha is saved, and later they engage in a Trinity versus Doomsday fight. However, what could have happened is after the Martha revelation, Batman throws away his spear and Superman could totally surprise attack superkill him. Of course, he has no reason to do this, but the movie is called Batman vs Superman. And the moment he threw that spear away, we could have had an answer to that premise real quick. This Batman's weakness is his parents, specifically his mother Martha. So how do you beat Batfleck in a fight? Well, it's less about who you are and more about who you're born to. He can do all the prep time planning he wants, but if you hit him with the 1-2 Martha mother punch right in the feels, you win. It's flawless logic. My theory, my game theory, my Big Bang theory is any character, so long as their mother's name is Martha, and they reveal this information during the fight, can beat the DCEU's Batman. It's brilliant. Just don't think about it too much. Fight starts, Martha stunlock, surprise attack, profit, victory. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I can present to you the list of every character ever that I could find who has a mother called Martha, and therefore the capacity to beat Batman. Loosely in order of least to most ridiculous. Side note, if there's a blue dot in the top center on screen at any point, it means I'm mostly unfamiliar with the franchise I'm discussing, so there's a higher chance I'll get things wrong. The obvious start to this is Superman. At this point, it should be no surprise that most interpretations of Clark Kent's Superman are the sons of Martha Kent. It's not in every case though. For example, there is no reference to a Martha or any maternal figure in the Soviet Kal-El in the story Superman Red Sun, and so we can't confirm whether he could beat our Batman. Martha Kent's motherhood also extends to some iterations of Superboy. Note that these Superboys are interpretations of Connor Kent, who in most cases is a younger clone from the DNA of the original Superman and Lex Luthor. This is not to be confused with John Kent Superboy, who is Clark and Lois' son, making Martha his grandmother. For Connor, in the current mainstream DC Comics universe, and in other media like the TV show Young Justice, Connor is taken in and adopted by the Kents, so like Clark before him, Connor's adoptive mother is also Martha. The natural conclusion to your emotional kryptonite being your opponent's mother's name matching your own means that you could be beaten by the many versions of yourself from alternate universes. As it turns out, almost all Batmen are born to Thomas and Martha Wayne. Now, while each Batman has their emotional ties to their parents, they wouldn't be Batman without it, none have a moment so absurd as the Martha stunlock. So despite their individual power levels, their capacity to plan their way out of a crisis, or their inability to kill, following our rule, they would all beat Ben Affleck's Batman. Moving from DC to Marvel, we have the Red Skull. Johann Schmidt was born to Martha Schmidt, where after years of abuse from her husband Herman, she died during childbirth. Although Martha was not a present mother, Johann still qualifies to defeat Batman. Looking towards Earth 1610, the Ultimate Universe, we have Norman Osborn's wife and Harry Osborn's mother, Martha Osborn. And yeah, that's the only picture I could find for her. This allows Harry's Hobgoblin as a victor over Batfleck. What's important to emphasize is that this is very universe specific. The dominant Marvel Comics universe of 616 has Harry Osborn born to Emily Lyman, and across the Marvel multiverse, Emily's are far more common. The only other Martha Osborn, well, is not a version of Norman's wife, but of Norman's own mother. That's some interdimensional Oedipus adjacent weirdness. From Earth 1048, the setting of Insomniac's Spider-Man games, Norman was born to Amberson and Martha Osborn, so he, instead of his son, could beat the Bat. Another son of a Spider-Man villain, Billy Connors, was born to Kurt Connors, aka the Lizard, and his wife Martha Connors. As shown here, both Martha and Billy had their own moments for reptilian transformation, but only Billy can take out Batman. For some reason, Spider-Man's rogue galleries have a thing with Marthas. Malcolm McBride, the second supervillain to go by the name Carrion, had a mother named Martha McBride, although she went by her short and middle name of B. Still counts. Gwenpool is the daughter of Martha Poole in a universe akin to our own where Marvel only exists as fiction. While living in the Marvel Universe, she uses her awareness that she has been transported into fiction to manipulate the world as if she has superpowers. Her knowledge as a Marvel fan also allows her to know things that no regular Marvel Universe citizen would know. For example, I assume she would know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Therefore, if her home universe is an accurate copy of our own, she would also be no stranger to at least some basic general knowledge of DC Comics. So, if anyone could exploit Batman's weakness of interrupting a fight using the power of Martha, it would be Gwen. Martha Jostin was a mother to two former villains turned somewhat heroes through the supergroup The Thunderbolts. Due to Martha, both size changer Eric Jostin, aka Atlas, and the Dark Force-fueled smuggler Conrad Jostin could take out Batman in a 1v1. Marvel has another pair of superpowered brothers raised by a Martha, Simon Williams, the hero of pure energy known as the Wonder Man, and Eric Williams, the scythe-handed villain known as the Grim Reaper. Finally, we're done with Marvel's Marthas, but the further from comic books we go, the more stupid this'll get. Hotel Transylvania. The late wife of Count Dracula and mother to Mavis Dracula is the Countess Martha Maria Dracula. This is basically Batman vs. Vampire, which has been done before many a times. In Doctor Who, Dr. Martha Jones was a companion to David Tennant's 10th Doctor. Although very little is known about him, Her son August qualifies to win in a fight against Batman. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series 5Ds, while having no biological children, Martha became the foster mother of all abandoned children in the satellite sector. These children include 3 main characters for the series, the protagonist Yusei Fudo, alongside Jack Atlas and Crow Hogan. In the Wizarding world, Martha Stewart was the mother to James Stewart, one of the 2 founders of the North American parallel to Hogwarts, the Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. James started the school alongside his wife Isolde Sayer. He's also the founder of Ilvermorny's Pukwudgie House. These 2 brothers and leaders of rival settlements during the post-apocalyptic setting of Fallout 4 were both born to Martha McDonough. Changing his last name, the ghoul John Hancock leads as mayor of Goodneighbor, while the anti-ghoul politician and synth in disguise Mayor McDonough, with no known first name, leads Diamond City. Speaking of mayors, we now go to The Simpsons. With over 30 seasons of TV, statistically someone's going to be called Martha. Mayor Joe Quimby and his wife Martha Quimby had Joseph Fitzgerald O'Malley Fitzpatrick O'Donnell the Edge Quimby III. Boy, what a name. Frat Boy Joey 1, Batfleck 0. We have another Martha from The Simpsons, but this one's a little more iffy. Gloria Prince, which appears to be her legal name on multiple Simpsons wiki databases, has the name Martha appearing in quotes between her first and last name, like this. This is what you'd do if they have a common nickname. For example, here's how they present Bart Simpson's name. Nothing else in the article suggests she's called Martha, and I don't want to have to search through 20 Simpsons episodes to figure out why. However, if she is known as Martha and it's not just an error or retcon, that means that Martin Prince Jr. and his older brother Montaigne can beat Batman. Jumanji. No, not the new ones with The Rock, but the initial 1995 Robin Williams movie. Both Judy and Peter Shepard are born to Martha Shepard. This extends to the versions of Judy and Peter from the original 1981 novel that the first movie was based on, and the animated series adaptation of the same book. When I said I'd look at any Marthas I could find, I literally meant any. Now turning to soap operas. From the Australian series Home and Away, we have the half-siblings Rue Stewart and Kieran Baldivis. Though Rue has other half-siblings, they are through her father, Al Stewart, not through her and Kieran's mother, Martha Stewart. No relation. To an American soap opera now with General Hospital, both Melissa and Skeeter McKee are the kids of Martha McKee. And to round out this half, we have a rather ironic victor over Ben Affleck's Batman. It is Ben Affleck himself, but not the real Ben Affleck. Only South Park's rendition of the actor. See, in the show, Ben's parents are revealed to be the literally butt-faced Stephen and Martha Thompson, hence why he's on the list. But in reality, Ben's real mother is Christopher Ann Bolt, so South Park Ben can best Batman Ben, while actor Ben cannot. And yes, I said that was the first half. As it turns out, there's a lot of mothers named Martha in real life too. So as we move from the fictional to the true stories, here's the ones I could find. The first famous Martha that came to mind before any of the research was Martha Stewart. Though, outside her funny friendship with Snoop Dogg, I'm not even sure what she's famous for. Wikipedia describes her as a television personality. Stewart has one child, Alexis, who herself has also been a television personality. And yeah, she can beat Batman, don't think about it. Less obviously known to me was actress Martha Burns. She had 2 children with fellow actor Paul Gross, a son Jack Gross, and a daughter Hannah Gross, who was an actress herself. It's not only present day that has had Marthas. In fact, it was easier to find them through historical figures. Martha Bernays, wife of the Austrian founder of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, had 6 kids by him: Matilda, John Martin, Oliver, Ernst, Sophie, and Anna. Freud's kids would mop the floor with Batman. I don't make the rules. Except I do. The very First Lady of the United States, Martha Washington, had 4 children. However, none were from her marriage to George Washington. Daniel Francis, John, and Martha Parke Custis were all from Martha's first marriage to Daniel Parke Custis Sr. Only John and Martha are mentioned here because the other 2 didn't survive past the age of 5. And if you're curious, no, Martha's daughter Martha did not have any children of her own, passing at age 17. Another wife of an American president, Martha Jefferson had 6 children by Thomas Jefferson. Somewhat like Martha Washington, only 2 of them reached adulthood. Very similarly to Washington, one of them was also called Martha, the other being Mary. Unlike the Washingtons, Jr. went on to become Mary Randolph in her marriage to Thomas Mann Randolph Jr., in which they had 12 kids, who all qualify. What is it with American presidents and Marthas? The only logical conclusion is that America's been planning on forging an anti-Batman presidential army throughout the country's history. President Teddy Roosevelt joins that army as he was born to Theodore Sr. and Martha Roosevelt. Roosevelt, as do his 3 siblings, Anna, Elliot, and Corin. Give the people what they deserve, DC Comics. Batman vs. American history. Although, that sounds like something they've probably already done. And that's all the Children of Martha I could find. So ends the list of victors over the DCEU's Batman. I'm certain there's some characters and real life figures that have mothers named Martha that I've missed. So if there's any you know that have not already been mentioned, the comment section is there for your contributions. And if your mother's name just so happens to be Martha, congratulations! You can now canonically defeat Batman, so says I. And after all this, if you're like, hey, this is oversimplified and stupid. You're right. It is. Thanks for watching, guys.